On today's show, we head over to Spain and to the circuit to Barcelona-Catalunya, where the Hankook 24-hour series is nearing the end of the 2022 season with the sixth and penultimate round, the 24 Hours of Barcelona. Then we wind the clock back to 2016 and head to Sydney Motorsport Park as we look back on the Porsche Renault Sport Festival, celebrating all things Porsche. And our coverage incorporates the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Pro-Am. This is Speedweek.
Hello everybody, this is the sixth and penultimate race of this year's 24-hour series powered by Hankook. I'm John Hindhaugh. Already this season, we've seen great endurance racing in the desert of Dubai, around the picturesque hills of Tuscany, on the Ardennes roller coaster of Spa, the German motorsport mecca at Hockenheim, and in the blistering heat of the Algarve in the south of Portugal. This weekend, we're at the famous Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya at Montmeló, around about 30 kilometres northeast of the Spanish metropolis. We're flat out for a full 24 hours. But what is this virus of endurance racing, and what makes the drivers addicted to it?
24 hours is a very special race because there is a mix of night, a mix of, I don't know, maybe changing weather. But for me, the most important is to be on the car as maximum as possible. So to do a stint for 2 hours driving on the track and with all the laps are absolutely different, for me is a big challenge, and I enjoy so much. I prefer to be honestly to drive on the night, but to be on the car as much as possible.
I mean, the 24-hour series is brilliant. You know, it's how I first started racing many years ago with go-karting and endurance racing with me and my father and some friends, obviously. And I just like the camaraderie within the 24-hour, you know, with endurance racing. Creventic obviously put on an amazing event for us. And yeah, I mean, when the wolf phones, we come running.
With its long straights and 16 corners to provide variety, the 4.655 kilometre or just under 3 mile long circuit of Barcelona-Catalunya is seen as a bit of an all-rounder circuit.
I love Barcelona. This is a great place, really great racetrack, super fun to drive, and it's so great to be back here with so many people in the stands and watching, and super big field, so I'm looking forward to this.
You always need to be focused, otherwise it's like a modern but also an old-fashioned circuit, so with a lot of gravel beds, and we have seen in the past that some cars stuck already. And as I said, over the whole stint, the concentration is the unique challenge.
The most challenging in this circuit is to be careful with the front left tire. So depends. The corner number 3 and then number 4. The end of the long straight is a very special part, and also the last chicane, because if you have to do nice, then you can arrive at the good speed at the end of the long straight. So it's a very important part.
I love the sector 1, the fast part. That for me is really exhilarating. Of course, the second part of the track is very technical. Which, you know, in the night is going to be really difficult, but tonight we get the first night driving and we get to see the track at night.
Yeah, definitely. The track is great, you know, it's the F1 track, and you know, even all the F1 team do testing here. So it's definitely a great track to come and race in.
Well, Barcelona is one of our favorite tracks. It's a difficult track, because the adhesion is different in different places. Visually, it's a little difficult. Places you think you could go really fast, you have to go slow. But it's really challenging. We enjoy coming to the area, but the track is really one of the great tracks of Europe.
Let's have a look at the key features of this famous Formula One circuit. 3 sectors for timing purposes. And there's 16 corners spread throughout the track. A little bit of something for everyone here. Coming down out of turn 16, up and over the start-finish line, then starting to drop downhill. It's very quick down here. Well over 150 miles an hour, 270 kilometers an hour. You brake late into turn 1, Elf. 1 and 2 really a very fast chicane, but you've got to be careful because you're setting yourself up for the uphill turn 3. You accelerate straight through that, often snatching a gear, then use the bridge as a braking point into turn 4, Repsol. Another right-hander, feels like a smaller version of Monza's Parabolica. Over another rise and down into turn 5. This is downhill and quite slow, easy to lock up the inside Hankook tyre there. Flat out through the kink at turn 6 and then another quick chicane. Uphill through 7, but watch out on the right-hand side for the big curb at 8. Continuing to climb, turn 9. Over the top of the hill is the exit, so you can't see where the corner goes. Easy to drop the left-hand side Hankooks onto the AstroTurf or worse, into the gravel. Then down to the newly reprofiled turn number 10. It's a lot quicker than it used to be, and that means you arrive at turn 11 much faster than in the past. That leads back uphill into the amphitheatre at turn 12. Again, over the top of the rise to turn 13. The motorcycles go straight on here. We'll turn right and start charging down to another chicane, but much slower this time, and you can't hit either of the apex curbs. It upsets the car, and you want to have it nice and settled and accelerate all the way through New Holland, turn 16, keep the speed up onto the start-finish straight, and then do it all over again. Qualifying more than just about setting the position on the starting grid. It's the first showdown of the weekend. The race isn't decided here, but everyone will still have to give their all for a good lap time. 3 15-minute sessions, 3 drivers per team. All of their times are put together and the average for each car sets their position within their class.
It's a good competition to go in the average of 3, so it's not up to 1 to be the fastest, it's up to the team to be the fastest, and we are in a team sport and I like team sport.
As usual, we have 2 divisions, GT and TCE, and there are 7 different classes. This means everybody gets someone with the same performance level to race against. Now, since Portimao, our last race, some of the rules and regulations have been modified. Changing of tyres or refuelling not allowed within qualifying, so that all 3 sessions need to be done with 1 set of tyres and the amount of fuel that you start with in the tank. It's a new experience for the drivers, especially for those doing the 2nd or 3rd sessions. Let's start with the TCE division. TCR homologated touring cars. They're based on 4 or 5 door production cars and powered by a 2-litre turbocharged engine. 3rd place goes to the Danish team of Holmgaard Motorsport in their red and white Coupe Leon competition TCR, the 102. It's the 158 team, BBR, who are in 2nd position in TCE's division. A great season so far by the all-Thai team. But on pole position, it's series regulars Wolf Power Racing who've put down the fastest average lap time, but not just that. Rob Huff, WTCC star, is the only TCE driver who got under 1 minute and 58 seconds. So the Swiss team in their Audi RS3 LMS 116 has the pole position 0.4 of a second ahead of BBR.
We had always some little things who was not matching, but today it was all good. Yeah, we are happy. Now we have pole position and we are ready for tomorrow.
And now the bigger engines and the faster GT cars are on track for their qualifying. Just as in TCE, it's a Danish team in third position. Here is the number 14 Porsche Motorsport Bmw M4 Gt3. The Bavarian racing cars have been strong here in the past. Let's see what the race brings for them tomorrow. In second, the German WTM Racing Ferrari. They've been in the mix but have never managed a victory in the series. This has been an impressive performance today. The only team to lap under 1 minute 47 seconds. But at the top of the charts, the German Herbeth Motorsport team with their black and purple Porsche with the number 91 on the side. And these guys really know how to win, especially here in Barcelona. It'll be difficult to defeat this outstanding team, but anything can happen. 24 hours still ahead of the teams and drivers.
Yeah, it's nice to be on pole for second time now in a row. But honestly, the Ferrari looks really good. They set a really good lap time in the second outing. Yeah, gonna be an interesting race for us. At the moment, we are happy to be on pole for tomorrow, and yeah, we will see. Cross fingers.
In the Porsche 992 Cup category, pole sitter once again, the number 909 from Team Red Camel Jordan.nl. They've shown up with fantastic performance at every race of this year's Hankook 24-hour series. The 701 Team Vortex V8 has the pole position in the GTX class. That's great success for them. They've had some setbacks this year. And in GT4, the fastest lap comes from the Czech team of Sydney Motorsport in the only Bmw M4 Gt3 on the grid. And after qualifying, it's straight to night practice. According to the regulations, every driver has to do at least 2 laps out in the darkness. This is the opportunity for teams to make sure that all their systems are working, particularly the lights. They've got to be pointing in the right direction. A crucial session for the drivers as well. They need to get used to racing with just their headlights and to find out where the darker areas of the track are. When we get into the race, it's going to be an awful long time between sunset and sunrise. In all of these sessions, though, there is one important rule. Don't crash the car. This is literally the last moments on track before the race on Saturday. And unfortunately, for the pole-sitting Herbeth Motorsport, they do crash. And the team are going to have a long night to get the car back into pristine shape. Saturday, race day, and the trophies that will be up for grabs are already at the front of the grid. There's a lot of tension in the air, not least at Herbeth Motorsport. How are the pole sitters doing?
Good luck was mostly just the bodywork, just a little bit on the rear left axle, but yeah, they fixed it in between, I think, 3 hours, and was not too bad. For sure it's bad because normally you need to get a rest before you have the 24 hours race, but we couldn't change it in the end. But now we're looking forward for this race. Yeah, hopefully we can win the race. So yeah, we're just looking to get a podium this weekend. So we know there's so many things can happen. We saw last weekend at GT World Challenge at Hockenheim where we were leading the race for the complete race in Gold Cup and lost it in the last lap. So now the goal is to go on podium and have a good race.
Second on the grid, WTM Racing with their Ferrari have the same ambition, but racing with the family feels a little different.
It's kind of special. Always dreamed about when I was a kid to also drive one day, and yeah, since a few years it's possible, and happy to drive the last race for this Ferrari.
WTM Racing still looking for their first win. CP Racing got their first win last time out in Portimao.
It's tough, you know, when you come back off of an overall win, you just, that high for the entire team is still there all the time. So there's a lot of pressure here. I mean, we got some really fast cars here. You know, 24 hours a long race, we always say that as drivers, but it is a reality. It's different for us this time and all the competitors that the fueling is before the pit area, and that changes things, how it works, the timing of drivers getting in and out and a few other things like that. Also, the fueling area is a little bit tight down there, so Code 60s are going to be something really fun to watch, and hopefully you'll be interviewing me later on because we're still in the lead. Let's hope for that.
Great diversity on the grid. Alongside the series regulars, there are some new teams here at Barcelona.
I think it's doing good. The quality yesterday was good, but I think we are a bit stronger during our long runs, so that's a positive for today. Obviously, as I said, P3 is good, but the job is yet to come, and yeah, I think we did a super job yesterday, but yeah, it's a long race, it's 24 hours, so we'll see how it works out.
Certainly one of the most colourful cars on the grid is the Bmw M4 Gt3 of the Canadian ST Racing team.
Yeah, we're very excited to be back here. Obviously, we started very well last year. We won in GT4 last year, so we're just excited to be back here with Creventic. Yeah, I mean, the team gave us a great car. We have a very solid start to the race, starting P3 in class, and, we're going to do what we do best, just eyes forward, run our laps, and, hope for a really good finish.
Adding even more spice, the teams from the Iberian supercars will be on track for the first 2 hours. The extra race within a race provides more traffic and more risk of incidents during that hectic opening phase.
It's definitely a problem because the TCR and the GT4s are really quite similarly paced. And as before, we had 2 GT4s in front of us. One was quicker than us, one was slower than us. We've now got 8 or 9, of which the majority are slower. So it's going to be really difficult in the first, half an hour, 40 minutes just to find, a rhythm, find a balance. And of course, it's a decision whether you you try and attack, because they're not in the race with us. After 2 hours, they're stopping. So, yeah, it throws an extra, equation into the balance. But we'll just take it as it comes. We're pretty sure we know what we're doing, and we just got to stick with our plan. And like I say, just keep ticking the laps off.
Let's take a look at the grid then. Pole sitting, Herberth Motorsport and WTM Racing's Ferrari on the front row. Behind them, Pulsar Motorsport's BMW, CP Racing in their AMG. In 5th and 6th on the third row, ST Racing, another BMW, and Dynamic Motorsport's Porsche. The 4th row, Huber Racing and Hoffer Racing. So the field roll out on the formation lap. When next they come to the line, we will be racing for the 24 hours of Barcelona. The teams have done what they can, and for the next portion of the race, it's down to the drivers. The tension rising, the lights are red, they go out, we're racing. As they come up over the top of the rise, the pole sitter's doing all right. Oh, off on the driver's left, that's one of the Lamborghinis into the wall. Not sure if he even made the start line. Meantime, Robert Renault in the purple and black Herberth Porsche holds on to first position. CP Racing coming through into second. Looked like the WTM Ferrari up into third. No, that's the ST Racing BMW that's in third. WTM Ferrari in fourth. Christian Poulsen, who was in third, has dropped down to 8th position in the red and white BMW, so he hasn't had a great start. Let's go back to the very start of the race and see if we can find out what happened to the Lamborghini. The lights go out, everyone accelerates. Did he get hit from behind? There he is, being pushed into the wall. On the right-hand side, it's the RD Sainz, the Lithuanian team, and here's the Red Ant Racing Porsche. Well, there's some evidence. Maybe that 904 car was doing some of the pushing, and I'm afraid that's going to have to go into the pits.
We have very big damage in the back and small damage in the front, and I don't know how it will be, but I hope maybe we come back to the race.
Well, that looks like an awful lot of work required from the mechanics to get that Lamborghini back on track. Oh, and there's a second Lamborghini that's been involved. The Lippert Motorsport car's in the pits.
Yeah, well, what we can see, because we have in-car camera live in the car, from what we can see, they were shifting to the left of the track, and it looks like the RD Sign car either got tagged, rotated in front, Gerhard Watzinger, who was driving, checked up, and then got rear-ended. I don't think we actually made contact with the Lamborghini, or it was a graze, but yeah, we didn't tag him and put him in the wall. It looks like he got hit from the car next to us, rotated him in, and then Gerhard, to avoid him, checked up, and then we got rear-ended, so we have damage on the left rear. I think it was a Porsche 992.
There's quite a lot of work to do on that red-ant Porsche as well. Racing continues out on the circuit. Nick Wittmer in the rainbow-coloured Bmw M4 Gt3. That's the ST racing car. He's challenging Charles Esplanade in the AMG, and he's gone through. That's a change of position. ST Racing now second, CP Racing in third. Here comes the Ferrari. Round the outside, Daniel Karlovitz. He's up into third now. Esplanade maybe just taking care of his tyres and bringing them up a little bit more gently than his competitors. Well, it's only taken 3 laps for Daniel Karlovitz to catch Nick Wittmer in this battle for second. Down the inside into turn 1, classic Barcelona overtaking manoeuvre, and the WTM Ferrari will go up to second. Oh, will he? Because there's traffic ahead here, and Karlovitz is blocked. Wittmer, great piece of driving, uses the lap traffic as a screen. Turn 1 again, this time no traffic to help Wittmer, and Karlovitz goes through into second in the Ferrari. Christian Poulsen in the red and white number 14 BMW had a quiet start, but he's picking up pace now. 10 laps into the race, he's back up into 6th position. The 992 Porsche Cup Class as competitive as ever. We've got a battle of the species here. The orange-red Camel Racing and the red Ant Porsche. Sam de Jonge right in the wheel tracks of Rick Breukers in the Tangerine car. De Jonge goes down the inside. That's a brave manoeuvre. He might have just caught Rick out there, and he has. Takes the lead. Great stuff from de Jonge. CP Racing Mercedes, Charles Esplanade in 4th position. Taking things easy earlier on, watching out for his tyres. He's got Manuel Lauk now in the orange and blue Huber Racing Porsche right behind him. Lauk flashing his lights. That's not going to intimidate Esplanade at all. He's far too experienced for that. Oh, he's gone a little bit wide. The American cuts back to the apex. Oh, a little touch. Can't imagine Charles is going to like that. Down towards the chicane. Is that just a tiny mistake from Charles Esplanade? Lauk did not need a second invitation there. He goes through up into 4th position for the Huber Porsche. Well-known team in the 24H Series, Phoenix Racing, under the radar but flying a streamer early on in their Audi. They were only 10th yesterday, and a very sensible start so far. Michael Doppelmayr, their gentleman driver, took the start. That was clever. He completed quite a lot of his required race time early in the race. I think that's a good strategy. Oh, this is drama for Red Camel Jordan.nl. Rick Breukers has gone off, and it gone a long way off. He's hit the wall there. What a disaster for the young Dutch driver and his team. Their dream of the European Championship title may well be over a little more than an hour after the start. Code 60, a bit like a virtual safety car really, 60 kilometers an hour speed limit around the track, so our wonderful marshals can launch into action and deal with the recovery. Looks like the Porsche is badly damaged and is going into the pit lane. Diana Binks is in the garage with Rick Breukers.
Apparently there is some kind of leak in the brake fluid system, so I suddenly had no brakes at all, and yeah, that's it. I don't think it makes any sense to start driving again. To fix this will take hours, and we are out of the race anyway, so.
So George Weiss in the WTM Ferrari coming through and gets spun. More drama. That was one of the Iberian supercar entries. He said the higher risk at the start of the race because of the extra cars on the track. Those Iberian supercars will be off the track in half an hour. That is, I'm afraid, scant consolation for the Ferrari and their team. An unscheduled pit stop for WTM Racing and Rinaldi, and this is dropping them down 15th position now. One man's meat, another man's poison, every cloud, etc. And the silver lining is for Porsche Motorsport. Their lead now, they've got a 20-second gap to second position Team Herbert Motorsport. In the classes then, in 992, Red Ant Racing's number 903 lead. They, of course, have lost their closest opponent, Red Camel Jordan, still in the pits. GTX leader is the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo of Lippert Motorsport. Remember, their closest competitor hit the wall early on, so they've got a decent lead. In GT4, the number 403 from Atlas BX Motorsport, the metallic silver shiny Mercedes AMG at the front of their field. And in TCE, been a few changes in position as well. It's Team BBR from Thailand in first position, Wolf Power in second, and the second all-tied team from BBR in third. I'm not sure I quite believe what I'm seeing here. It appears Red Camel Jordan's NL are fixing the car and they're going to try and come back out on the track. Well, there's no chance of a victory now, but their hearts beat for Motorsport. We'll have to keep an eye on them, but there's a lot still to be done. Another set of pit stops completed. It's the Canadian ST Racing Team number 1 in the lead. US young gun Bryson Morris at the wheel. Samantha Tan has just got out the car so she can talk to Andrew Marriott in the pit lane.
Yeah, it was a great stint, kept it consistent, and you know, there's still a long way to go, so we're gonna keep it up there for sure. I mean, again, we won GT4 last year, so fingers crossed again for this year.
So far, the number 1 BMW with about 600 horsepower, running like clockwork, but as Samantha's just said, there's still 19 hours. That's a very long way to go. The tactics of Phoenix Racing beginning to play out now. Alea Earhart, Sven Herberger and Pierre Caffer have been charging. The car's up into 5th position, with Pierre Caffer putting down one super fast lap after the other. They've got a great rhythm now. Surely they'll be in 4th shortly. 6 hours down, here's how they stand. The Canadian ST Motorsport lead GT ahead of Poulsen Motorsport for the BMW in 2nd. Then it's CP Racing for AMG in 3rd. Phoenix are now up into 4th position. In 5th, WTM Racing's Ferrari ahead of Huber's Porsche in 6th, Jutta in 7th, and 8th, the family team of Hoffer Racing. In TCE, Wolf Power Racing in their Audi lead the 2 BBR teams. Just a quarter of the race gone. A lot still can happen, especially during the night. This is impressive down at Team RedCamelJordan.nl. Looks like the finishing touches have been put to that Porsche. And with Paul Trustwell standing behind the car, hands on hips, overseeing the repair, I think they'll be back into the battle shortly.
Yeah, so it's quite a job, and we can be thankful for all the other teams, because we got some part from ID Racing, HRT, Red Ant Racing, Vaporo, so all the parts came together. We put it back all, and we hope to get out in about 20 minutes.
What a brilliant story this is. The RedCamelJordan.nl Porsche is back on the pit apron, now consisting of many different parts from many different Porsche teams in the paddock. 6 hours or thereabouts it's spent in the pit lane, and with the help of their other Porsche teams, it's back racing. Endurance racers really are all one big family. Just over 7 hours down, ST Racing have been in the lead for more than 70 laps. Samantha Tan back behind the wheel. 2 laps the lead to Phoenix Racing. Let's check in with Nick Whitmer in the pit lane.
Oh, it was amazing. First of all, I just gotta thank STR Racing. We did all the setting this week, and since Dubai actually. So it's not our first time in this car. We know the setup pretty good here. Last year we did very well here, so we got a good driver lineup for that. And all you have to do is focus out there and nail your points and stay out of traffic. And if there is traffic, go right around them. There is a good battle out there. I mean, I was quite alone for a while, so I was just in a groove. But then after that, ST Racing gave me a car that I could go right through traffic like they were cones.
The sun has set behind the Catalonian mountains. The moon is up. That means even more challenges for the drivers. Into the darkness of the night period. Nothing more difficult in motorsport than racing in darkness. Down at turn 5, the RD Racing Lamborghini has been hit from behind again. Oh my goodness me. What a race they're having. It's the 910 Porsche that has turned them around this time. Looks like they're going to be able to continue. Or can they? Smoke at the back of the car. Never a good sign. The Porsche from E2P Racing has damage on the right front. That's going to be some work for their mechanics as well.
Well, we were in a good stint. We were making up positions, and a car that was going a bit slower than us. I think he didn't saw where I was coming and braked too early, closed the door. Too many cars for the same space. And I took the worst part because front of the Porsches are really weak. So we have a damaged radiator and a long stop now.
I thought I'd seen everything in endurance racing. There's a power failure at the fuel pumps, so no one can get any racing fuel. This could be an issue for anyone who's running low. Now, the good news is the lights are back on the pumps just in time for the leader, Samantha Tan, to come in and get some more fuel. 9 hours into the race, and Phoenix Racing back in the hunt for the win. They sit in third at the moment.
We had a turbulent start, and from that point on, we have been a bit unlucky in the beginning of the race, but right now we are coming closer and closer. And we need a tiny little bit of luck on our side. And the race, as you said, we still have 15 hours to go, so it's a long way still. And now in the night, you know, it's always special to drive when it's dark. I like to drive in the night, I have to say. In the night, it's always special.
Phoenix Racing aiming for the title. Another team that we know well in the 24-hour series, the Swiss Hofer Racing Squad. Other ambitions for them. Chantal and Alex Prince have been away, adding to their family. His proud grandfather, Michael Kroll.
Oh, it's not too bad. It's a test for us to see if we will try it again next year, the whole season. So we only have a small team, no pro drivers, and just having fun.
Yeah, it's just amazing. We love it. We joined Creventic 3 years. We have been like 6 years with Creventic before, and now we are back. We just love the atmosphere. It's really familiar. We are back after 3 years now, and all the teams come to us and say, "Oh, it's great to have you back for the challenge." It's amazing.
Well, let's hope we do see this very likeable team back for the whole season next year. Let's take a look at the standings halfway through the race. ST Racing still in the lead, ahead of Phoenix up into second now. WTM Ferrari in third, CP in the AMG in fourth. Herbeth Motorsport had some problems earlier on. They're back in the top 5, ahead of Pulson Motorsport's BMW in 6th. Huber Racing for Porsche in 7th. 8 is Jutta Racing for Audi. No major changes in TCE. Hop Suisse as Wolf Power Racing lead ahead of the 158 of BBR. 3rd, AC Motorsport. In the full darkness, the race continues with a slightly different rhythm. The team's now waiting for sunrise and the charge to the checkered flag. Buenos dias, as the Spanish say. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday. Another great day of racing ahead. 5 hours still on the clock. Here's what's been happening overnight. Phoenix Racing leading after the pit stop strategies have started to play out. A few changes for that lead, but all 4 of the Phoenix drivers have done a super job. Sven Herberger driving now and pushing as hard as he can, and he has to, because Robert Renault of Herbert Motorsport is charging hard too. He's making up some ground, and the lead now just one lap. Renault looking over his shoulder though, trying to keep the Ferrari of WTM Racing at a distance. Amazing to see such a close battle after 19 hours of racing. It's Leonard Weiss in the Ferrari who just can't quite get close enough to push on and make an overtaking manoeuvre and snatch that second position from the Porsche. But here's the big story from overnight. The BMW of ST Racing in the garage. They spent 13 hours and 199 laps in the lead. An engine failure means it's game over for ST Racing. In the TCE division, it's been a good overnight session for Team BBR from Thailand. Their 158 leads the category now. Consistently fast laps in the night. They've stayed away from trouble. Good racing and good teamwork.
We're quite confident about this because we did well at the night time. So trying to keep the racing pace around this to the end of the race.
BBR have benefited from the misfortune of Wolf Power Racing. The Swiss team went into the nighttime hours as leaders, but they've had too many mechanical issues.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple of hours ago we started having vibrations, so we changed a couple of things. Then we started having problems losing power as well. We got that fixed, but now finally the gearbox failed, and so we have a broken gearbox.
The number 188 Audi of AC Motorsport, on the other hand, must be happy with how their night time's done. They had problems early on, but they've been catching up right through the night. Now in second position, just a single lap down on Team BBR. The second BBR team currently in third position. That's a further lap back behind AC Motorsport, so nothing decided in TCE division. The tension rises. In the 992 Porsche Cup Class, still the same picture with Red Ant Racing, the 903, leading, well, comfortably with 5 laps over the HRT Performance Porsche. And as long as nothing horrible happens, surely they'll be taking home the victory here in Barcelona. In GTX, well, the victory is almost assured. Lippert Motorsport have more than a 50-lap advantage. Remember, the second Lamborghini in the field, that was the RD Sainz car, crashed into the wall at the start. Atlas BX Motorsport, the number 403, still leading the GT4 class. They are literally in a class of their own, since only 2 teams started in this category, and the Czech Senka Motorsport team have parked the car up. Oh, more drama for Herbert Motorsport. The number 91 car, it's running slowly to driver's right. Smoke coming from the rear of that Porsche. Now, if that's an engine failure, that would definitely mean the end of the race. This, again, is a weekend to forget for what is usually a very successful team.
We had technical issues earlier, so we couldn't repair the car, go back on track. We went back on track 7 laps behind, and now we were just at the leading lap again. We have been facing some oil leaking in other pit stops, but yeah, we thought it would be under control. But now, unfortunately, the driver just reported that the engine is broken, and
Just 4 hours to go. Here's how it stands. WTM Racing's Ferrari have a 2-lap lead on Phoenix Racing in the Audi. CP in the AMG is third. Poulsen Motorsports BMW fourth. Dynamic now up to fifth. Jutta in sixth. Huber in seventh. And Herbert Motorsport in the garage, but still in 8th position. In TCE, 158 Team BBR and their Cupra hold the lead ahead of AC Motorsports Audi number 188, and the second Thai BBR 159 sits in third. We're into the final phase of the race now, and the leader, WTM Ferrari number 22, the Rinaldi run car, is in for its penultimate stop. Getting the right strategy now, key. Brand new set of Hankook tyres going on. Indy Donchi getting into the car, taking over from Georg Weiss. Off he goes back into the race. Look to the right-hand side. Here comes the Phoenix Audi. Michael Doppelmayr has just taken the lead down into turn 1. Surely that won't last long, though, with brand new tyres. Indy Donchi uses the grip advantage He's already with the Phoenix Audi, and he must make that grip advantage work for him. He does. He's alongside going into turn 13 and makes the pass, retaking the lead for the Ferrari team.
Yesterday we had some problems and we were behind. And today in the morning and in the night we took over the first place. And it looks, if all things are going well, then we can do it.
GTX leader, Lippert Lamborghini in the pits. Looks like it's going to be a slightly longer stop as they're doing some routine maintenance, new set of brake discs and pads. You'd normally do this in a Accord 60, but they've got 50 laps lead, so it's not really a problem to take this time to get them to the checkered flag. Overall leader in the pit lane, WTM Ferrari. That's another set of Hankook tyres for that car, and a driver change as well, as the mechanics go to work cleaning the windscreen. And the TCE leader in as well. They're getting some brake work done. That looks just like pads on the back for the BBR machine.
The feedback is quite good. The car is in a very good condition. His stuff is very good. Everything is on our plan. So doing the tire chain, driver chain, brake pad, rotor, everything is on our plan.
Just 4 team members allowed to work on the car when it's on the pit apron. They're wearing the orange bibs. The green bib is for the driver assistant. Make sure the seat belts are fastened and the driver net is sorted. Waved out from CP Racing. Bit ZZ top that, wasn't it? 85 car back in the race.
Yeah, you know, it seems like a lot happens in the last 3 hours. Everybody kind of pulls the stops out and starts running. You know, the old adage in endurance racing is you survive the first 20 hours and then you race the last 4 hours. So not totally true. You know, you have to go fast the whole time. But yeah, things get, the pressure starting now.
The American team, 3rd position and still in contention. It's the Phoenix Racing Audi in 2nd position. Elliot Earhart driving as fast as he can, trying to chase down the Ferrari that leads. Indeed, Donchi in that car is showing his skills. The margin still just more than a lap.
Yeah, everything can happen in the last 3 hours. It's a great race again here in Creventic Series, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. And you know, it's nice to see how the championship is growing, and it's a great battle between the Ferrari and us and the CP car, the Mercedes. So you know, everything can happen still in the last 2 hours 40, because if there's a code 60 now, that's why I'm already almost ready. Then you need to be quick in the car, and that can be good for the Ferrari, can be also good for us. So everything can happen.
So Phoenix needing a little help from the racing gods. And is this it? Off at the side of the track, the Rabdan Motorsport number 977 brings out a code 60. Now, who's got the right strategy? All of the leaders will come in to do a refuel, maybe a driver change, certainly a new set of tyres. 2nd and 1st are both in the pit lane.
Yeah, well, we wanted to extend my maximum stint, of course, but now we took the chance to do the driver change, and Dani's in the car now, so let's see what happens.
It's crunch time. Both of the leading teams have put their fastest drivers in to run to the flag. Daniel Kailovitz in behind the wheel of the 22 Ferrari, and Pierre Caffer for Phoenix. Caffer is charging to get every last bit of performance out of the Audi, but he can't close the gap. It's round about 2 minutes or a little more than 1 lap between 1st and 2nd. Behind the 2 leaders, and relatively speaking, cruising in 3rd position is CP Racing. They've got a 2-lap gap back to the 4th place car. Shane Lewis is driving, and the experience that he has should get that car to the checkered flag. They'll be looking at a minimum of 3rd position now. Porsche 911 GT3 Cup for 992 cars has Red Ant Racing in the 903 looking extremely comfortable. They've got 5 laps of a lead over second place. That's Team HRT Performance, taking their fuel stop in the 9:28. And whilst the first 2 places seem to be sorted out, there's a great battle going on for the last place on the box. Seb Lajou Racing, the number 908, and the second HRT Performance Porsche, the 929, are pushing very hard. And the darker coloured car is Anti-Burry in 4th at the moment in the 929. Looks like he's coming up on Sébastien Lajou from the Seb Lajou Racing team. Goes through. Whilst the leaders are counting down the laps and the time to the checkered flag, there is one trophy to be given out before the checkered flag, the Spirit of the Race Award. And this weekend, it's going to the Swiss Hofer Racing team as they've returned to the track and for their love of motorsport. Congratulations.
I got my daughter Amelie in 19, so that's the last race we also did with the GT3 car. Pretty soon after, we got pregnant again. So again, no time for the GT3 car, and my father was like, well, it's a family thing, so they won't drive either. They wait for me, and that's why it took so long to come back.
Is that the plan, to be back for a full season?
We haven't planned it yet, so this race was a race to see how it goes, if we still have fun, if we can find the spirit again, and then we will discuss it after Barcelona, so we will see.
As predicted in the 992 class, the win will go to Red Ant Racing, and the honour of taking the car at the checkered flag has been given to team owner Bert Redont. Second place in the class will go to HRT Performance. It's been a faultless race by this team who has supported the series for many years. It's a nice surprise for the second HRT Performance Porsche though. An exciting battle towards the end has gone in their direction, and they've got a well-deserved place on the podium. 3rd spot for them. Team Vili Motorsport by EB Motors, the number 955, had no competition after the E2P Racing number 910 fell out of the race, so it's a victory for them in the 991 Cup class. The GTX class has been dominated by the number 710. Lippert Motorsport from Germany with their Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo will win the class, almost 50 laps the winning margin. In the GT4 category, it is another victory that can be chalked up to reliability, great teamwork, and staying out of trouble. The number 403, and that's the Atlas BX Motorsport AMG GT4 Silver and Black Arrow. They'll take the victory after their competition fell by the wayside. Just a couple of laps to go, and it seems like the top 3 are having a great battle, but there's laps between them. The Ferrari is still leading, the number 22 coming towards the end of this race. They've not won before in Hankook 24-hour competition. Looks like they're going to put that one right today. Just over 4.5 kilometres or 3 miles separate them from that elusive first victory. They're on the last lap now. And you've got to say, this has been a total team effort. Flawless pit stops, quick driver changes, super fast, consistent lap times, and taking no risks. What a brilliant run. You can't ask for more. A deserved victory for the team with the red and white Ferrari, number 22. The checkered flag goes to WTM Racing, Wochenspiegel, Team Monschau by Rinaldi.
It's the first time since 4 years that we are on the top, and we took 4 years. We have some 2 places and 3 places, and now on the top. It's good.
Yeah, couldn't end better. Really special thing to end the car's history like that. So very proud.
Great job from the team. It's also the last race for the beautiful 488.
the last dance, as Garrick would say. So yeah, really happy to finish the last race for this car like this.
And here's the winner in the TCE division. It's the Cupra Leon Competition of Team BBR from Thailand. Another great race for the all-Thai team.
That's everything, because we're looking forward to win the race in Barcelona. And yeah, it's everything. Our mechanic, pit crew, team members, they all done a fantastic job. The car is perfect. My co-driver is perfect. Everything is good. Yes, it was a very tough race. Nighttime, daytime, we fight until to the end with the second place and the third place. So, yeah.
The Wagenspiegel team, Manchau Racing, Ferrari, of Georg Weiss, Leonard Weiss, Nicholas Verone, Daniel Kenwitz and Edi Dodger.
What a brilliant way to get your first victory in the Hankook 24-hour series. And after the trophies have been given, it's time to spray the champagne.
It's the number 158, the BBR Cupra of Decathlon Fukakarowit, Kennedy Kusiri, Kandasak Kusiri, Grant Superhongs and Nadadin Liwathan Bala.
Congratulations to all that made the finish and, of course, all of the winners. Here's the final standings. WTM Racing Ferrari take it ahead of Phoenix Audi in second. CP for AMG in third. Just off the podium, the BMW of Porsche Motorsport, Huber Racing in fifth, Dynamic in sixth. Seventh, Jutta Racing and Red Ant Racing winning the 992 class, make it into the top 8. The TCE division, BBR took first. Second, AC Motorsport with the 188 Audi. And the second Thai BBR 159 sits in third. 24 hours of exciting and emotional motor racing. The statistics are impressive. 696 laps completed by the winner, 22,000 laps and over 800 pit stops in total by all participants. 164 drivers from 31 nations taking part, everyone leaving the circuit of Catalunya with a lot of memories, and most have a smile on their face. The 24-hour series, powered by Hankook, will move on to its grand season finale at Motor City, Kuwait, the first international endurance race on that supreme circuit in the Middle East desert. I'm John Hindorf, see you there.